The breaking news that's come out of Parliament today. In the last few minutes, the Defence Secretary Ben Wallace has been speaking in the Commons about Ukraine and an incident involving an RAF aircraft and Russian fighter jets. So here's what he said.
An unarmed RAF RC-135 rivet joint, a civilian I-Star aircraft on routine patrol over the Black Sea, was interacted with by two Russian armed Su-27 fighter aircraft. It is not unusual for aircraft to be shadowed, and this day was no different. During that interaction, however, it transpired that one of the Su-27 aircraft released a missile in the vicinity of the RAF rivet joint beyond visual range. The total time of the interaction between the Russian aircraft and the rivet joint was approximately 90 minutes. The patrol completed and the aircraft returned to its base. In light of this potentially dangerous engagement, I've communicated my concerns directly to my Russian counterpart, Defence Minister Shoigu, and the Chief of Defence Staff in Moscow, and has done so. My colleague, the Chief of Defence Staff, has also communicated his concerns. In my letter, I made clear...
Well, let's get some reaction now from our Security and Defence editor, Deborah Haynes, who's in the newsroom for us. So, Deborah, what should we make of this incident then?
It's very serious. Excuse my voice, I've lost it a little bit. But it just shows that while the Defence Secretary, he's still speaking in Parliament at the moment, he says that the UK doesn't consider this to be a deliberate escalation by the Russians, and that the analysis suggests that this was more of a malfunction. It does underline the risks that you have of a mistaken escalation, a mistaken incident, when you have a lot of military aircraft, military operations taking place around Ukraine. Of course, the UK is not directly involved in the war in Ukraine. It's got, in terms of troops on the ground and aircraft and jets involved directly in the conflict. The UK, like other Western allies, has been supplying the Ukrainian armed forces with weapons for them to fight. But at the same time, you have a lot of Russian aircraft that are directly engaged in this war. Clearly, they are using the airspace around Ukraine. Ukraine is part of Europe, and therefore you also have, quite legitimately, UK and other NATO aircraft and jets operating in the Black Sea area, around the area, the Baltics, around this whole war zone in Ukraine, not directly in Ukraine. But if you have the two sides operating in that area, then the potential for some kind of mistake obviously rises. And that seems to be what the Defence Secretary is suggesting happened on the 29th of September. He said that these two Russian fighter jets were sort of shadowing the British spy plane as it was conducting this routine patrol, and it took the whole interaction. That is normal. You often have, when Russian jets come close to buzzing UK airspace, the UK will scramble jets to accompany them. But it seems during the course of this interaction, which lasted about an hour and a half, a missile was released by one of the Russian jets in the vicinity of the UK warplane. It seems it was a malfunction, but it does show that it could have been something much worse, and clearly it's a serious incident, and that's why the Defence Secretary is talking about it at this time of political chaos.
Deborah, thanks very much indeed for that very swift analysis. Thank you.